Hello, Lynette here in Australia, and welcome to my channel Belle's Uniques. This will be phase 2 of making our dragon journal cover. So I just wanted to mention that the baking paper is, because someone was saying what is that in another country, it's just what you put in the oven. So it's heat resistant, it's microwave and oven safe, it's what we use for baking. You put on the tray for cookies, under the base of cake making, and this is the best that I have found to use. I have tried tissue, and for the background part I've tried napkins, and you don't quite get the same result, and it takes an awful lot longer to dry. So I prefer to use the baking paper, or parchment paper I think it can be called, but around the eye I do use the tissue. So around the eye, this is what we did yesterday afternoon, is still quite wet and sticky, but the shells are glued down enough to not be moving, so we're going to glue them today. So I will do what I'm going to do now, again maybe late this afternoon, because this is this morning, and then again tomorrow. So we'll have 3 glue sessions. Now this brush is seriously just from the cheap craft shop. It is, I think you might get 3 for $2. So it's not an art brush, it is a work brush really. It's not really coarse, but it's definitely not something that I would paint a painting with. So it's perfect for this, but it is soft, you know. So I'm just going to go over all of this, and I don't worry so much about the rest of it unless there's little bubbles, and just push it into the eggshells. And thank you so much for all the support and lovely comments I've had so far on my first video. It's really encouraging, and you know, I get really nervous about doing this. I've never, as I said, I never thought that I'd be having a YouTube channel and selling my journals, and yeah, it's just so lovely to have beautiful feedback. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the new subscribers, so thank you so much. So we've got a bit of a bubble in there, there's a bit of a hole, don't know if you can see that. Now I've probably lost it. Oh, just in here. So I'm just going to push that down a little bit and push the glue in there, just sort of. So this is still really quite soft in around here and damp. Well, it's quite wet really. I'm not worried about any of the paint colour on there. Oh, I've got glue up there, because we're going to paint over all of that, which is just sort of smudging everywhere. That's fine. Use my little one in around the eye. Oh, so of course I hadn't built it all up in around the eye yesterday, but I've completely built up in around the eye now, if you can see that. Got a little bit of a cheekbone, a little bit of a brow bone. So, and then I've just popped the shells in around. I've crushed some little ones up to put a little bit of texture in there. And we're just going to glue in this part here as well. So as I said, this is just PVA, nothing else. So I'm just being a little more gentle in around here, just sort of mushing it in, because the tissue is still pliable and I don't want to squash it. I want it to still, you know, have that height in it. So just sort of mushing the glue in. So it is, as I said, it's quite a wet process and sticky, but it seals it all in. Hopefully will last decades, and you get a really good result from it. So just, and you can sort of mold that, because it's still so soft, you can mold that shape of the eye. So just with this little pokey tool, because it's, you know, my fingers are a bit big to get in there delicately, I'm just going to define that little bit of the eye there. And I think we need some glue down in this little tissue part. We use a lot. So I'm just going to use a smaller brush in around the eye area. Hopefully my head's not in the camera. And we'll just wipe that glue off. And we'll just sort of push it into the little creases, mold that little bit of a wrinkle. And I must link the place that I got these eyes from, because I did get some smaller ones off Etsy, but these particular ones I got off YouTube. Oh no, sorry, not YouTube, eBay here in Australia, which I have ordered some more because they are absolutely stunning and just perfect. These are the 30mm, and I do have some smaller ones, like in this little one here. This is a different shape, but these are the ones that I got off Etsy. Okay, so that is a cat hair in there. Lovely. So that is all I do, and then I just set that aside and let it dry for hours, because it takes hours. And but it's worth it, absolutely worth it. And then I will do that again, as I said, late this afternoon or this evening. I'll do it again, and possibly a third time, but it depends on how it's sort of sitting and if it needs it, because we do paint as well. So I'm just going to pop that on my floor because I don't have much room in this little space. And I just wanted to show you the painting process. So last night, I'm actually going to the market soon, so I've made this small one up. It's only going to be a one signature. So I've used a file folder, and I painted it this orange because I haven't done an orange or anything like this before, and this one's actually going to go in this box for the markets. And I wasn't happy with it at all. So once I did the orange and the red, sort of, oh, it was yellow and red, and I've mixed them together, I wasn't happy with the fact that the eye just wasn't popping as much as normal, because it's not much of a contrast. So what I've done is I've gone over it with black, and that's the amazing thing about acrylic paints, is you can just redo it. I love it. And so I'm going to redo this. So what I've done is I painted it the black, and I wanted to also show you that I was gifted a heat gun from a beautiful friend, and once I paint it, I'll get in quite close, probably that close, and it makes little bubbles in the paint, and I love that because it's extra texture. You might not like it, but I really love it. So it gives little bubbles texture, which kind of reminds me of, like, you know, a dolphin with particles and things. So little warts or growths, or just bumpy scaly skin on lizards. So I think it's quite perfect. So that's what I do. And with this, someone's asked me to show how I paint. So with this one, I'll show you. With the purple one here, what I did was I've used two different purples. There's the Brilliant Violet and the Oxidine, which is stunning. And I seriously just squirted it on and then just pushed it in and around. And then when it was dry, I've gone and dusted over a little bit of the gold, okay, which is the same as what I did for this one here, this green one. I've painted the green, and then I've gone and dusted a little bit of the gold. This is a pouring acrylic, and it doesn't matter what sort of paint it is. Like, I quite like this one as well, but this one's got a little bit of a sparkle in it, so that's why I use this. So I'm going to paint this one, and I do like the idea of the orange or the red coming through, but I think it needed that little bit of depth in behind. So I'm only going to use a little bit instead of doing the whole thing. So I just need a white here, and I'm just gonna, so look, I've still got glue on this, and it's not a drama to me. I'm a bit of a messy painter, creator, so I like to just do things quick and easy and without much fuss. So, you know, this still may not work. It is an experiment with the paint, and as I said, I don't want to put too much colour in, but some. So I'm just going to sort of spread it around, and this is seriously what I do. And I'm just going to sort of mush it. Some I want a little bit brighter, because it's then going to be covered up mostly anyway with the wax rub that we put on. And you can see all this texture starting to show. But yeah, I just think with this colour it was too much, and even when I covered it with some sienna, burnt sienna, and then the gold, it was still too much, I felt. So I'm going to paint that one black as well and start again, basically. So that's all I'm going to do on that, just that little bit of colour underneath, and then I will come in. I might pop a tiny bit of gold on top, And when I do that, I seriously just do that. I might wipe the brush and I'll just wipe it over and give it that little bit of the gold. So this is quite a harsh brush, so it's leaving lines, which is not a drama to me. I might come in later with the gold and just soften it up like I have with this purple. You can see better on the purple. I've just sort of, and I've gone over with my finger. Okay, so we're going to put that one aside, and this with the green and the gold. I am then going to get this bronze wax, which I've seen someone else use, and when I saw it I just thought I have to have that. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's soft, and it smells yummy. And I just put some on my finger and very gently rub it across to start with. Should I bring this down a little bit?